Hi everyone. Today I wanted to explore a topic that's been on my mind for a couple of months actually. It's been coming up in a few conversations I've had with a few people, and what I wanted to talk about is what happens when we go on that change journey and start doing something different, something new, and we face resistance from those around us. In all the perfect scenarios, we talk about how our loved ones, our friends are always there and supporting us, but actually, that's not what always happens. And sometimes, you start facing the situation where your close circle might be questioning some of your choices or asking, well, why did you decide to start doing this? Why do you need to, exercise every day these days? Or why do you need to do this course? Are you sure that that's for you? Or how come you thinking about quitting this secure, reliable job and start your own thing if, you don't know if you're going to succeed? Why are you taking up dance lessons if you're not going to be a dancer? Or even a really simple one that I know a lot of people have come across, where someone might decide to stop drinking either for forever or for some time, and a friend circle might actually start questioning you about it and kind of asking, well, why are you doing it? And one drink won't hurt, and all those types of situations where we have taken something on and we're doing something different, we're growing, we're trying something new, and we're facing that resistance. And I wanted to explore, what to do about that, and how to handle that, and also explore the other side of it, because we're all mirrors of each other, and sometimes these are the situations when we are doing that to those around us. And I want to emphasize that most of the time, we truly, genuinely believe that we come from a really, really caring, good place. And a lot of those things, we talk to others about, thinking that we're really caring about them, and maybe they're not thinking things through or making the right choice. And I also want to talk about from that perspective, in terms of what does that actually tell us about us, and what kind of cues and takeaways we can take out for us. So let's start from the first one. What happens if you find yourself trying something new and maybe not necessarily seeing that support of your close circle, which essentially in everything that we're doing usually is quite important to us. We're social creatures and we want others to believe in ourselves. So the first thing that I really, really want to remember, for you to remember, is that oftentimes those reactions actually are not about you. They don't really have anything to do with you. This happens because the other person feels threatened. Essentially, by you starting to do something different, they suddenly feel threatened that the relationship, the way it was, is not going to be anymore. It is going to change. It's going to be something different. And as humans, we are naturally programmed to be scared of uncertainty. So those types of scenarios often may bring up those feelings of fear, that feeling of uncertainty. If there are any other elements that the other person may depend on, like if it's a partnership and your partner wants to quit their job and start their business, then you could think about the fact that, well, actually this also undermines my own feeling of safety, because what does that mean for us as a family? And this video is not about the fact that you just need to do those types of things and not talk about your partner about that. Of course, that's not about that, but it's just important to take into account that a lot of the times, even we may not be aware of it, our reactions actually come from the fact that it threatens us, and it actually has nothing to do with the other person. The second part is, a lot of the times the resentment comes when that's something that we feel that we should be doing as well, but we're not. And then we see somebody else taking that initiative and we don't like it, because it's like that mirror that's showing us, well, hey, somebody else is doing it, and we're kind of trying to convince ourselves that that's not a good idea, it's not going to work, that person is going to quit it. So that's why quite often when somebody goes onto this real health journey, for example, the social circle may not be as supportive, because somewhere deep inside there sits a little bit of own dissatisfaction with yourself, and it kind of opens it up. And when it opens it up, then you don't want to be close to it. So you choose to kind of come up with those statements around that, oh well, this diet is unhealthy, or exercising that much is not good for you, and things like that. Because true acceptance comes when you know that you're on your own path, you're happy with yourself, you're doing what's right for you, what is in agreement with your own inner voice and what you're feeling. And then when you see others try on and kind of try and start on their own path, genuinely you feel those feelings of support for them, even if you don't understand that path or you can't relate to it. You don't typically have those strong feelings of judgment or resentment towards them, because you think, okay, well, that's not mine, but it's theirs and I respect it, and I don't really need to worry about that too much. So remember that whatever those strong emotions that usually come from that fear, they may not want to lose what they have with you, and whatever you might be going through may be threatening that. So keep that in mind. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't do that, but perhaps, you can have a conversation with the other person and try and understand more in terms of where they're coming from and where that worry might be coming, where is the core of it, and then you can address it, as long as you compassionately and actively listen to them and hear their concerns. And you can watch my video about how to properly listen and actively listen to kind of to do that correctly. Well, not correctly, probably is not the right word, but more constructively. So I guess I kind of inadvertently addressed the other side of it as well, that if you're seeing yourself being that person who's strongly reacting to your friend or your partner doing something new, that is a clue for you to try and understand, what does that threaten for you? Because the reality is that it's not about the other person, it is about you. And you need to understand, if you're used to being, I don't know, on the couch every day watching Netflix for 5 hours, and suddenly your partner is out running every day, you may be worried that, well, actually now they have different interests, and unless I start doing it, we may have nothing that we do in common. And this may be fueling potentially that reaction. Or you see your friend or partner pursuing their passion and doing things for themselves, whilst you're the person who's always feeling the pressure to do everything for everybody else, and you don't have that time, or you feel like you don't because you don't allow yourself. So you feeling resentful about that person being like, well, of course they can do that because they don't care about everybody else, or something like that. So every strong reaction is a really, really important cue for yourself to understand yourself better and to learn more what's important to you. So if you notice yourself feeling resentment towards somebody when they're starting out something new, try your best to take a step back and kind of think about, okay, what is this telling me? What is this threatening me? What am I afraid of? Or what is it within myself that I don't allow myself, that this is telling me that, well, maybe I should relax a little bit about it too? Because the more we're happy with ourselves, the less judgmental we are of others, the less we care about the path of other people, because we know that we're in alignment with ourselves. It's when we've got that misalignment is when everybody else triggers us a lot. So coming back to, if you're on the receiving end of not seeing the support of others, first and foremost, again, remember that it's not about you, it's about them. Second, have a conversation with them about it. Try to really understand where they're coming from. And third point is just shut up. Stop talking about this new thing that you're doing. Because I've noticed that a lot of the times what we start doing is when we get excited about something, or we believe that it's like the next most amazing thing, we start trying to convert everybody else around us to it as well. And that's also often what fuels that resentment. If you have an interest in something, it doesn't mean that those around you need to share that interest with you. So just do your thing. And honestly, even if you want somebody else to start doing this thing as well and kind of join you in it, you'll only be effective when you just keep doing what you love, keep following your own energy and your own interest and curiosity and your passion, and others will follow you if they see you being in your element, and you know, they will be curious about it, and they'll probably will ask you about it, rather than you coming in and trying to encourage everybody to suddenly start, you know, taking up, I don't know, exercise or whatever. I have this personal experience when about 10 years ago I started yoga, and I tried to convince my husband to do it with me, and for probably first few years I kept trying to drag him to classes, and then I realized that I should stop doing it and I should just do my own thing. And quite interestingly, at some point he suddenly started to do it with me, just out of the blue, basically wanted to try it. I never said anything, and it was really quite interesting. And when we spoke about it later, his reaction was, well, I saw how much you get out of it, so I just felt the interest to follow that as well and see if that's something that I might enjoy as well. But you know, quite often we're just too forceful with whatever our own beliefs are, and you know, that's not something that usually draws people towards. So, you know, I guess in simple terms, try and trust your inner voice. If that's something that you want to do, continue doing it. I know it could be hard if you're facing resentment and maybe not feeling as supported by others, but stay true to your path. Remember that a lot of the times those reactions are not about you, but about them, and keep that in mind, and know that it's coming from a good place, not from a bad place, from a really, really good place. And you know, the third point is just stay true to your path. You don't need to tell everybody else about it. Find your own tribe, I guess, if you need to, and just know that others will eventually either just get used to it and accept you for whatever you're doing and whatever the changes that you've created in your life, and they will eventually see that actually it doesn't threaten them and maybe even enriches their life more. They may just, you know, it doesn't mean that they will suddenly will get interest in it. That doesn't always happen, but they might just be able to kind of, you know, accept it as part of you and live with it peacefully. Or, you know, at the end of the day, sometimes it does happen that we take on different paths with people, but that's also not a bad thing, and, you know, all part of our journey. Anyway, so I hope this was helpful. I know that this is quite a complex topic, and, you know, you probably can't really uncover this and unpack it in, you know, I already spoke for 13 minutes. But yeah, thank you for listening.